Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. More importantly, welcome to season 2. Season 2 of the Country Hipster Podcast. We made it. We made it to season 2. That music...
37 years in the making.
37 years in the making. Season 2 is finally here. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia. They are still with us for season 2. That's the name of that song is Dirty Knife. Go check out the Unholy Four on Bandcamp and Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube and everywhere that you can find the Unholy Four. OttsvilleRecordGarage.com. We are in the Ottsville Record Garage for season 2 as well as season 1. Katie has not kicked us out for season 2 yet. Could still happen, but she hasn't kicked us out of the garage yet. But if you go to OttsvilleRecordGarage.com and use the podcast-specific promo code, since it's season 2, spell it out, TWO, for all of July, and you will get 15% off of your entire order. What's up?
You should have done TOO.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Because season 1 was too long.
Yeah.
There you go. Speaking of which, welcome back to my brother and co-host Adam. Adam, how was the break for you?
It was
short.
It was short-lived.
It was short-lived. Yeah. It was short-lived. And then to my left is our very special guest, Adam. I'll let you introduce her.
I talked about it last week, or not last week. The last
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Last episode of the finale of season 1.
Season 1.
Season 1.
You got to lift your drink. We got to cheers.
Okay.
There you
go. Cheers. We lift them for the people who've passed.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mentioned on the last podcast that I picked the album that we're covering because it was a listener pick, and that listener is my daughter Haley, my oldest. It is very fitting that she's with us today because today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day!
Happy Father's Day and happy
Father's Day to everyone out there. Yeah. So Haley, this is my daughter Haley. She is my oldest and probably most annoying, and she picked this album. She is, so we thought, it'd be perfect to have her on.
Yes. Yep.
So Haley, do you want to say hello?
Hi.
Very good. That's very nice. Very nice. All right. So here we go. As we try to do with every guest that we had in season 1, we're going to try to do the same thing in season 2. So I have some questions for you.
Spill.
All right. Number 1.
Oh, wait.
What?
Did you talk about what we're covering?
Not yet. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
I thought some of the questions would pertain to that.
The element of surprise.
Those are other questions.
Oh, okay.
Those are other questions. Yes. All right. So number 1, have you ever listened to the Country Hipster Podcast?
Yes.
You have?
Well, like bits and pieces in my dad's car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your dad's played some for you. Okay. All right.
He's so full of himself.
Yes. Well, why not? Hey, listen, we need all the listeners we can get.
Yeah.
And, so are you happy to be here then? If you've heard some of the Country Hipster Podcast?
Oh my God, yes, it's an honor and a privilege, and I'm especially happy about discussing the specific album.
Okay.
I forgot how to talk for a second.
I forget how to talk and say words, and apparently I don't know how to read either. So
Paul can't read.
Okay, so this is probably the most important question I have to ask you.
Yes.
Am I the best uncle ever? And mind you, you're sitting right next to me, and I can punch you very easily.
Can you hook me up with Austin Carlisle?
Well, no. But I'm still the best uncle ever, though, right?
Yes.
I have a podcast, a record store.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I play music. So.
Yes.
All right. So what we've talked about in the past, we've mentioned it before, that Haley is blind, right?
Yes.
You were born blind?
Yes.
Yes. So you've never seen anything, right?
No.
Okay. But that being said, you have some specific talents. Like what are some of the talents that you have?
So according to my mom, like ever since I started talking, which she said was probably the age of 1,
Mm-hmm.
I've been singing.
Okay.
And then both at the age of 8, I taught myself how to play the keyboard and how to write my own lyrics. And I have another thing. Does it matter if it's music themed?
It does not. No. What is the other thing?
This was actually the only way I could get a grade in my elementary school art class because blind people can't draw. I make and sell jewelry.
Nice. And do you have a website? Do you do that on Instagram? How do you do that?
On Instagram.
Okay. And what is the handle?
Like the name of my account?
Yep.
Okay. So my account is HL Amazing 6905. So capital H, capital L, lowercase, amazing 6905.
Well, that's your personal one. What's your? You have one for your personal one, and you have one for your beads.
No, I use that for jewelry too.
Oh, I thought
Oh,
you.
okay.
I thought
Yeah.
you had.
I use it all for everything.
I follow 2 accounts of yours. What the hell?
I follow 2 accounts.
What the hell am I
as well.
following of yours? Then isn't it like HL Beautiful?
I just post
Okay,
everything
so
on that one account.
so the HL Amazing 6905 is the one you mainly use for it.
Yes,
Okay.
And you have on your wrist, you have some of your work with you as well too, right?
this one, yes.
Cool. Could you hold that up a little bit and a little bit closer so people can see that? And Haley,
Okay.
you made that yourself, and you had a specific reason to make that one?
It's actually a funny story. So, my grandpa, my mom's dad, may he rest in peace.
Pasquale?
Well, that's well.
He passed away back in December of this past year. Literally, I can't think of a more worse day for that to happen. December 24th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty bad day.
Anyway, he loved jewelry. One thing in particular, he loved turquoise. So, a few years ago, I forget what the occasion was, either for his birthday or for Christmas, but my mom bought him a turquoise bracelet, and shortly after that, it broke.
Oh.
So, I knew for a fact that I had made turquoise pieces before, because every time I make something new, I ask my mom to describe it to me, because, as you've heard, I'm completely blind all my life. I like to call myself a total. No, that's an actual thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I had asked her that one time, and if there was a thing at work where we hired a girl who was deaf, and we had this thing that people could wear like on their back that said, "I'm hearing impaired. If you need something, please tap me on the shoulder." And when she got hired, they offered it to her, and she said no because she doesn't like the term hearing impaired. She's like, "I'm not hearing impaired. I'm deaf. I can't hear at all." So I had asked Haley if she likes the term visually impaired or blind, to which Haley responded,
blind.
blind, because she's not visually impaired. She can't see shit. So she's blind.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was very interesting that like...
Real quick, and I'll let you get back to your story, but real quick, I wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So you're blind, so you have nothing. Do you sense light? Like, I know you have an amazing hearing and amazing sense of smell, which I'm sorry you're this close to me.
Yeah.
But what do you? The reason I'm asking this, okay, I learned how to play clarinet from a man who was blind, a very gifted musician, jazz musician named Bill Douglas, and that's how I learned how to play clarinet. And the first lesson we had, and we didn't even think of it. We walk into the lesson, we set everything up, and we're playing, and he's teaching me clarinet and all this. And at the end of the lesson, he goes, "Yo, guys, why the hell didn't you turn on the light?" We were like, "Oh shit, we didn't even realize we didn't turn on the light."
No.
So somehow he could sense light.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So do you have any sense of that like at all, or is it just black?
No. For example, so whenever I listen to a record, I have to have my light on.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to ask my stepdad about this. He's an electrician. So, the outlet that I connect my record player to and the light are like somehow linked.
Oh, okay.
So in order to play a record, the light has to be on. So sometimes I forget.
That's just to
that's
just to complete the circuit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like you have to turn the light switch on to listen to a record.
We have that shit all over.
Yeah, that's just like certain. A lot of times in houses, they'll wire light switches to an outlet. So when you plug a lamp into them, you walk on the room and hit the light switch, and that's the light that goes on.
Oh,
So your
really?
record player just happens to be plugged into the socket that's controlled by the light switch. It has nothing to do with the light whatsoever.
Okay, but what I was saying was it makes no difference. So like, I'll forget to turn the light off. I'm like, holy crap! I honestly forgot that I had it on to begin. I'll leave it on all night and not notice.
Okay.
But about the jewelry.
Yes, back to jewelry. Yes.
Real quick before to touch on that, there's been times where Haley would be over and I would have to go to the bathroom, and I like walked upstairs to go to the bathroom, opened the door, only to realize that Haley was in the bathroom, but it looked like no one was in there because the light was off. Yeah, because the light was off. So I was like, "Oh, no one's in the bathroom. I don't see light coming out from underneath the door," because Haley was in the bathroom.
Okay.
Well,
So there's been plenty of times where I've hit her with a door while she's washing her hands at the
Well,
sink.
there you go.
Yeah.
The same thing happens at my mom's house. My stepdad yells at me for not like yells at in terms of like punish, but just gives me crap for not locking the door. I'm like, I put the light on.
No.
That should mean something to you sighted people.
That's
What the
true.
hell?
Actually, you got a really good point.
You sighties.
You sighted. You people who can see. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You can see shit. You should know better, right? Like that's what we're saying. So I'm sorry. So back to Jory. You were saying.
You said mom got the bracelet for Pop, and then it broke.
Yeah. So I knew that I had turquoise pieces because my mom had described them to me in the past. So the one day while my grandpa and my nana were watching me and my brother, I have this like big ass tote that I keep all my finished pieces in. Like that's how much jewelry I make. Dad, you remember I tried to.
Yes, it's quite large.
I brought it in his car. So, anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay, so I was digging around in that big basket and I found a piece. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of turquoise pieces, but I only made one with that shaped turquoise. As you can see, they're kind of like, what would you say, like diamond shaped?
Yeah, almost like football shaped because they're rounded slightly.
Yeah. So I gave him a piece and I was like, here, since my mom's piece broke on you. And according to my nana, he wore it every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
No.
And then he, like I said, he had passed away. And then, like I said, I don't remember making another one of that shape. Literally the night before this happened, I was digging around in my big tote. I literally took everything out and I didn't feel another thing like it. See how I didn't say I didn't see anything else like it?
Exactly.
So the next day,
What, you mean you couldn't just look down and there it is?
it's not that easy for me.
On that topic, if I had $1 for every time like I said something to like somebody that I work with, where I was like, "Oh yeah, I was watching a movie with my daughter," and they go, "But she's blind." I was like, "We just say watch, but listen," and they're like, "Oh okay." I'm like, Jesus Christ, continue.
So my brother and I like playing Nerf guns, and he wanted one of his back. So I went in my room, and I'm like crawling and feeling around on the floor. It's annoying to lose something when you can't see.
You're like Velma from Scooby Doo.
Except even finding your glasses, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
I don't wear glasses.
Exactly.
They wouldn't do shit for me.
You say jinkies a lot, though, strangely. You don't, I'm kidding.
No, I do not.
You should stop doing that, though.
Yeah.
No, it sounds so wrong. I don't know why, but it does. So anyway, I was feeling around on my bedroom floor looking for my brother's Nerf gun, and on the floor next to my bed, it wasn't there before. Also, my bed and the basket where I keep all my finished pieces aren't even that close. So next to my bed, I found that bracelet, and like I said, I'm pretty sure I only made one, and it was for my grandpa. So I called my nana right away. I was like, "Look what I just found," and she said, "Ghosts can apparently move things."
There you go. Creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy. Mm-hmm. So then what you're saying is blind people can't see ghosts, but they're around.
Yeah, every experience.
I would think that'd be like some kind of like fucked up, like kind of like little like superpower you had. Like,
oh, that might be
that would be kind of
that might be an interesting like horror movie, like The Sixth Sense, but with a blind kid.
Yeah, like you can't see anything except dead people.
Yeah,
like you could be like, what's wrong? I can only see dead people.
Every experience that I've had was either by touch or hearing. So like a week or two after he passed, we were at my aunt's house. My mom, my stepdad, my nana, all my aunts and uncles, they were sitting at her kitchen table in Island. And my brother and my cousins, they were all in her playroom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another thing, along with being blind, another thing that I struggle with is what's called epilepsy. So I was laying on my aunt's couch asleep after having a seizure. I assume most people know what that is.
Epilepsy?
Yes.
Or a seizure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
So, I was laying on my aunt's couch asleep after having one. It's a really frustrating.
Do you know what they called
thing.
Epilepsy in Julius Caesar?
What?
The falling down disease.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. Because when you would have a seizure, you would fall down.
Yeah.
So they refer to it as the falling down disease.
There you go.
I couldn't tell you what happens when I have one.
Read your Shakespeare, kids. Continue.
So I woke up to somebody touching my leg, and I was like, "Who's touching me?" And my mom was like, nobody, we're all at the table and all the kids are in the playroom. I was like, I felt somebody touch me. I'm blind, but I'm not crazy.
Well,
A little bit.
That's debatable.
Yeah, in this case, I'm not lying. So my mom and my nana walk up to me, and on the blanket that I was using, there was this huge ass handprint. And my nana said it was big enough to be Pop's.
Okay.
And she was like, where did you feel somebody touch you? And I pointed to the spot on my leg, and she's like, that's exactly where the handprint is.
There you go.
Creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Aunt Gina's house is haunted.
There you go.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right. Well, that's cool. So one more question. What was it like driving your dad's car?
It was pretty fun.
Yes.
He called me Leadfoot.
Have I? I've told that story.
You told that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you told that story like 17 years ago
Yeah.
on I think like episode 20 something
Yeah.
of season 1.
Well,
So it was a while back.
I did call you a Leadfoot.
Mhm.
But in all fairness, it was literally the first time you were ever behind a wheel,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's understandably, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult. You're not like some people are a Leadfoot and they've been driving for 40 years.
Mhm.
You're a Leadfoot because you don't understand the sensitivity of a gas pedal.
Mhm.
You're insensitive.
Yeah.
Why are you so insensitive, Haley?
I don't know.
God damn it.
And what made that experience better is that we listened to.
Got some wisps, kid.
Will you stop touching me?
I'm sorry.
We're on camera, damn it.
That's why I'm trying to. You're not a ghost. Trying to make it look good for camera. You got all these wisps coming up the side of your face.
I'm 19. You don't have to be doing my hair.
I could lick my thumb and get a smudge off your face if you want.
And because I can't see, I wouldn't know that you stuck your finger in your mouth. So, and to make that experience better, we were listening to the album that we're going to be covering.
Oh, nice.
Were we? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So real quick, we have just mentioned that Haley is 19 years old. So
Yes.
real quick, what are we drinking here, Adam? What do you have?
I actually just finished a Philly Standard from Yards Brewery.
Yes.
I haven't had this one. I think I talked about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I had the it was like a Philly Standard like fruit punch.
Yeah.
It's the light blue and the maroon cans. That was really good. This is really good. It's 4.5%.
Yeah.
Actually, it says tailgate beer. It's a very good, like, if I got to drink a beer all day, this is a very good thing to drink.
And I have one of my all-time favorite beers. I have the Hell or High Watermelon from the 21st Amendment Brewery.
I have to imagine at this point.
Just a 6-pack.
It's I forgot what month we're in. It's June.
It's June. Yeah.
Yeah. I say so. We're like we're in season.
Yes, we're in.
For some reason, in my head, it was like way later. I'm like, oh, they must be getting scarce now.
Yeah. The only thing that bothers me is like you can generally only get these in 6-packs. I guess, which I get. Not everybody wants to drink a watermelon beer.
I've seen 12.
In the past, I've seen cases, but you can't.
I've never seen a case, but I know I've bought a 12-pack of it before.
Okay, but as we mentioned, obviously Adam and I are of age and are drinking alcoholic beer, whereas Haley is drinking an Athletic Brewing Company non-alcoholic IPA. It's called the Run Wild. So that
actually it says right there on the can, contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume.
Yes.
Damn.
So we are not giving an underage human being any alcohol here or any real beer. It's just a non-alcoholic beer, so she could fit in with the Country Hipster Podcast.
Athletic Brewing Company out of Milford, Connecticut.
Okay.
And also San Diego, California. Sorry, I was reading this stuff on the can.
He's reading it.
If you're gonna take it, then tell me.
I forget. Well, I didn't realize you would be reaching for it. I'm sorry.
Do you ever forget that I'm blind?
No.
I do.
Like that time I threw you a football? No.
You actually do that? I forget.
No, actually, so this is one of my favorite stories about you being blind was, and I don't know, I'm sure you probably don't remember.
I don't know.
But our brother Brian had died. Brian.
Oh.
Right.
Can I have another one?
Yes. Hold on, let me get Adam another beer.
Oh, I swear to God, I knew it was gonna fucking happen.
What?
They got me a fucking chelada. The fucking hair. I don't remember the last time I had a hell or high watermelon.
So Brian had died, and we were having his luncheon, his memorial luncheon, and I had actually met you only one time before that. You were like real young and a coach and all this. Like we happened to run into each other in the mall, and so this was actually only the second time I met you, and your dad's holding you. I think you were probably like 3-ish
Uh-huh.
or so. Your dad's holding you, and they're like, "Oh, this is Uncle Paul," and we're talking. And I went up and I grabbed your nose. They're like, "Oh, got your nose," and I put my hand behind my back. And I went, "Wait, I don't know why I put my hand behind my back. You can't see it anyway."
No.
And everybody else is like, "God damn it, Paul!" And you thought it was hysterical. You were like, "I can't see it anyway." And so for the rest of the day, you're just running around this hall and you're like fucking knocking into things, falling over. And every time you bang into something, you get up and be like, "I can't see it anyway."
Yeah.
And then you would just start running around. It was like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, I fucking like that kid.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, it was great. But like, that's what I did. Just naturally, like, oh, wait, I'm fucking up the tablecloth.
Well,
You got a new table.
It's
moving it.
a lot of times people a lot of people will like they won't know how to like what to say about Haley being blind. They don't know how to act.
What do you mean?
Like for instance, I had a guy that I went to high school with. I had said something about you being blind, and his response was, "When are they going to teach you sign language?" Because he confused blind and deaf. And he asked me when they were going to teach you sign language, to which I responded, probably when she goes deaf. And then he thought about it for a second and went, "Oh, shit, my bad." I'm like, "No, it's fine. You're an idiot. It's cool."
Yes. All right. Anyway, welcome to season 2. We are in season 2. We're going straight forward here. And this is so to give you guys a heads up of how season 2 is going to work. Okay. We are going to have a total of 36 episodes.
Fuck, dude. Hell or High Water Mountain's really good.
It is. It's fucking good. I love it. All right. We're going to have a total of 36 episodes. 10 of them are going to be my picks. 10 of them are going to be Adam's picks. 5 of them will be Booze and Vinyl, straight from the Booze and Vinyl books by Andre Darlington and his sister Tanaya Darlington. Which, let's give it up for Andre Darlington.
Andre Darlington sharing the post.
Our post from the Depeche Mode Violators. So go check out the Booze and Vinyls. You can pick them up on Amazon and most of your local bookstores.
Oh, do we want to say the 5 Booze and Vinyl albums were randomly picked by
Tom? So he picked those. There are other Booze and Vinyls just through the picks of everybody, but there were 5 that are specifically just Booze and Vinyl.
Yeah, Tom flipped through the books and went, "Oh, I want to talk about that, or I want to make that drink." And
yep. And then we will be doing a Christmas episode again. And then, as we are here today, we had our listeners pick 10 records.
Yeah.
Not 10 different listeners, because when we were putting the questionnaire out there of like, what should we listen to in season 2, or what would your pick be? We only had so many people. So, and we are going to try to have our listeners on as much as possible, but that is what we are here to discuss today. This is our first listener pick, and it is from Haley, and it is the self-titled album from Of Mice and Men.
What do we have, like six different people?
I think like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
something
5 or 6
like that.
submitted
something
things.
like that. Yep. So Adam, hit us with the factoids on this album.
I took over the factoids for Haley. So as Paul said, this was the debut studio album from Of Mice and Men. Apparently originally set to be released on February 23rd of 2010, but for some reason was delayed until March 9th of 2010.
Oh, that was because of this big delay of the February-March delay of 2010. You didn't know
the February-March delay of 2010. That affected this.
Yeah, there's the February-March delay of 2010, which affected a lot of stuff, including this album.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I was late on my rent that month.
You were
the same delay
because it was delayed. Yeah, absolutely. Everything was delayed. So anyway, go on.
It was recorded at the Foundation Recording Studio in Connersville, Indiana. Released on Rise Records and produced by Joey Sturgis, who has also produced bands such as The Devil Wears Prada. At least the lead singer of the band for this album, Austin Carlisle, his other band Attack Attack.
Look at that smile.
He's also produced Asking Alexandria and We Came as Romance. A bunch of other stuff, but those are the 4 that I recognize. The album peaked at 115 on the Billboard 200.
It peaked in high school?
It peaked in high school. It peaked at number 12 on the U.S. Billboard Independent Albums.
Damn.
Number 3 on the U.S. Billboard Heat Seekers Albums, excuse me. Number 35 on the U.S. Billboard Rock Albums, and number 10 on the U.S. Billboard Hard Rock Albums. And aside from that, that's really all I have from there. There wasn't a whole big bunch on the super reputable search engine that we use to find information about records.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we got.
Okay. All right. So Haley,
Yes.
this is your pick. This is the album that you said when we talked about you coming on the podcast. You were like, "Well, I want to talk about Of Mice and Men," and we're like,
Yes.
"All right, cool." So you picked this album. So why did you pick this album? Like, what about it is it that you like? Like, why this album?
Start off, how did you discover Of Mice and Men?
I first heard of them from my stepdad.
I say because for a very long,
I knew there was a reason I didn't like him.
yeah, for a very long period of time,
Pineapple.
yeah, Haley was,
Because he's Asian?
he's
He's Philippine.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
Filipino.
but I always tell him he's Polynesian. So
Yeah, Uncle Paul thought he was Polynesian. Not
No,
Filipino.
actually, I did say I thought he was Polynesian.
Yeah.
I thought he ate a lot of fucking pineapple.
Yeah.
But
For a very long time, Haley was very strictly country only. Has the cowboy boots and the hats to match.
but this was post mumble rap.
This is
post mumble rap. Haley.
First it was mumble rap,
Mhm.
and then it was country music, and now we're on to kind of like the post hardcore metalcore screamo
Okay.
scene. So you discovered Of Mice and Men through Dave.
Yes.
Okay.
So a good majority. So him and my mom met in like 2009. So I was just about to turn 4, and a good majority of what he played. Well, I also heard country music from him, but a good majority of what he played was metal. And for so long, I always hated it. I don't know why. So loud noises scare me, but
Mhm.
it actually has nothing to do with that. I just found screaming to be kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple songs that I liked. There are a couple songs that I liked that, well, just of that genre, that I'm like kind of scared of change, so I didn't want to tell him, can you add this to my Apple Music library? But one song that I did like by Of Mice and Men, I forget what it's called. He had like an album of a bunch of different bands of that genre covering pop songs.
Okay.
Oh, this you're talking. He was the they did there's a bunch of them. One of them actually came out, I think, when I was in middle school, like end of middle school, beginning of high school. Is the compilation is called Punk Goes Pop.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
There's also Punk Goes 90s, Punk Goes Country, I think.
Oh, really?
There's a Punk Goes Crunk, which is a bunch of like bands of that genre covering rap songs.
Oh god.
Paul's favorite band, Say Anything, actually covers Got Your Money. So but yeah, so Of Mice and Men are on one of the Punk Goes Pops.
Yeah, and I remember asking him, I was like, who sings this? And he said Of Mice and Men. And I was like, this might be my favorite on that album. So I kind of forgot about it after that. So fast forward 10 years. So I forget if it was the end of 2022 or the beginning of last year, me, Dave, and my brother, we all drove her to the nail salon. I don't mind being in the car.
Oh, to pause you for a second, the song in which you're speaking of is Of Mice and Men's cover of Blame It.
Yes.
On Punk Goes Pop Volume 3.
Oh, you think that's on vinyl? If I can't find that song alone?
No.
Damn
I've
it!
already that's what I originally had looked up to see if Punk Goes Pop. Yeah.
I thought you were doing that song alone.
No, I was
Okay.
looking for the compilation and it's not.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I have to have every Of Mice and Men song on vinyl.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
No, I like the way she's thinking. I really do. As the
I like
Record Garage, I
like the way she's thinking until she wants to spend like $500 to make a single.
Way she's
A single. She's not buying it from you. She's gonna pay some random ass
no,
guy
I'm
with
going away for her to buy
a
it.
pressing plant.
You would do that?
No.
Damn it! So,
So he had a Punk Goes Pop Volume 3 that had Blame It covered by Mice and Men on it.
Okay.
yeah, so, we were driving my mom. I forget if it was when we were driving her to the salon or picking her up from there. But, so Dave's the only one who's allowed to have control of the music in the car.
What a dick.
You can try and make a request, but he won't always do it. Sometimes he'll flat out say no.
Okay.
And hang on a second.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the person driving the vehicle has final say.
Well,
A lot of times, the driver will divert control
Mhm.
to the passenger so they can focus on driving. But at the end of the day, if the driver says no, the driver says no to what's on the radio.
Fair.
That's true.
So, he just usually has his music on shuffle, and what came on was this song. I'm not gonna say it until we start talking about like our favorites.
Yeah, don't jump segments.
No
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yes.
So I heard the song and I was like, I thought to myself, this is pretty good. But like I said, I'm so afraid of change that I didn't want to say it out loud.
Okay.
I'm like, maybe I should hear it a little bit more, and then that'll determine whether or not I should ask Dave to add it to my Apple Music library.
Okay.
So a few more times we were in the car, that song came on. And how fucking convenient. As soon as I came to the conclusion, like, okay, I want it on my phone.
She's so happy that I said she could curse.
Yeah.
You can hear it in the inflection.
I didn't even notice.
Yes.
But I stopped hearing it in the car. So what I would do was, when we were in the car, I would cross my fingers, and my mom was like, what are you doing? I was like, there's this one song that I like, but I know nothing about it. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know any of the lyrics. I don't know the name of the band. I don't know the name of the song. Looking back now, I wouldn't have expected myself to know the name of the song, like, to guess it off the top of my head. I don't think anybody would.
Or the lyrics, probably.
Yeah.
too, I would guess.
All I could do was like hum a part of the melody, but that wouldn't really do anything. So
I get that too.
I said to
Speaking of you humming melodies, when Uncle Paul asked you like talents you have, something you left out is you
Yeah.
have near perfect pitch.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty big.
it's pretty impressive.
It is.
I was, in fact, earlier when we got here, Regina was running. I took Regina out of her steel cage, and she was running around, and then she walked over to one of Paul's guitars and started playing it. So I picked it up and started playing, and I just started playing random notes for Haley, and she knows
Nice.
And you, the only one you didn't know is you didn't know the C. You missed
Yeah.
the C.
It might have been out of tune too.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little cousins have this like little kids piano, so I asked my cousin, I'm like, play a note and I'll tell you what it is. Or like when my one uncle, when he started playing the guitar a couple months ago, and like he would probably get so annoyed because every time he would tune it, I'm like, that's an E, that's an A, whatever. So anyway,
We digress.
Yes.
all I could really do was hum the melody, and I feel like that wouldn't be too helpful. So I said to my mom, I was like, I'm just waiting for it to play by chance. So then one day, I remember the exact date too because it was the anniversary of something else that happened.
Okay.
It was February 9th of 2023, and Dave picked me up from school, and he had his music surprisingly low, and that's a first for him. So like I said, he usually has his phone on shuffle, and we were mid-conversation, and then I started to zone out, because I heard a song. I don't think it was on this album. I forget which one it was, but I knew that voice, that being Austin Carlisle.
Okay.
And I said to him, I was like, who sings this? And he said, Of Mice and Men. I remember the way he said it, I'm like, are you asking or telling me? He was probably like, since when do you give a crap?
right.
I was like, I think this is the band that I've been trying to listen out for. I said, can you please play more of their work so I can see if I'm right?
Excuse me, Jesus.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
And he was like, are you sure? Because you made it very clear ever since you were little that you don't like that kind of music. I'm like, well, it's not unheard of for somebody's mind to change, so can you please play it? So he turns it back up really loud and plays the first album, which is the one that we're going to be covering.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually gave them shit. He's like, the first album is literally called Of Mice and Men. Talk about a lack of creativity.
Well, that's like normal for a lot of first albums to come out where a band just like uses as like a self-titled album. I was like, it's a long like list of. I mean, I of course I'm saying it. I can't think of any of them off the top of my fucking head.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a long like list of artists who come out with an album just like self-titled. Like look at like Peter Gabriel. Like his first like 4 solo albums are just called Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. Like, it's just a way, an idea to get to know who the artist is.
I mean, the most valuable record on season 1 of the Country Hipster podcast was Steel Train.
Fucking Steel Train.
Yeah.
Bring that fucking shit up. I'm still not over it. You got the big D, which, if you show her, he is wearing the big D.
You can't see it because of my beard.
Yeah, I know.
I can't see it, period.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So are there other bands like in this style you like, or is it just like Of Mice and Men is like your jam?
They're probably my number one. But what I was saying was he played their first album, and as I'm listening, I'm like, even if they don't sing the song in question, I might still like them.
Okay.
And I thought they better sing the song in question because it's so annoying waiting for it to happen by chance. So the one song on the first album between the fact that he had it up so loud, but also out of legit, pure, genuine excitement, I started yelling. I was like, "This is it! This is the one!" So we get home, and I was like, "Can you put it on my phone?" And he was like, "How much of their work do you want?" And I was like, "Well, how much do they have?" And he's like, "With the guy that you like, they have 4 albums." I'm like, "The guy that I like, is he their current or their original vocalist?" And he said the first.
Okay.
Okay, so the last album they did with Austin Carlisle, who was their original vocalist and who started the band, is called Cold World. It was released in 2016. I don't like any of their work after Cold World.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Like,
fair.
I refuse to listen to it. I'll admit there are a couple songs that I do like, but when I listen to it, it feels like I'm doing something wrong. And like, about a year ago, Dad, you asked me if I wanted to see them. They were performing here in Philly.
Yes.
And I was like, did it say anything about Austin Carlisle singing for them again? And you were like, probably not, and you know that.
Generally, that's not a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So,
unless they do like a weird like reunion
Yep.
tour.
So in all caps, I wrote, "Then hell no."
Okay.
I say, if I remember correctly, I gave you the option of Mice and Men and another band that you discovered through Dave that you're a fan of, State Champs.
They're like more pop punk.
More pop punk, yes, not as screamy as this.
Yeah, they don't scream at all, actually.
They were also playing in Philly, and they were playing around the same time, I believe, like within like a month apart or so.
No, within the same month.
Where they at? I don't remember.
Okay. Cool. All right, so you love this album.
Yes.
You love Early of Mice and Men.
Yes.
Okay, so those are fair statements, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so Adam, what do you think of this album?
Oh God.
I don't care for this album.
Okay.
And I've told Haley this numerous times. So this album came out in 2010, and I've explained to Haley that I graduated high school in 2008. After I graduated high school, in that time frame of which I was graduating high school, like 2008, 2012, a lot of the music that was coming out in this genre, to me, all sounded the same.
Okay.
When listening to it today, I was thinking this probably falls very well under the genre copycat syndrome that we've talked about on the podcast. Like I said, I feel like every time I talk to people who I was friends with, they would say like 17, like every other day, 17 new bands in that post-hardcore, metalcore, whatever the hell you want to call it, genre, were like popping up, and to me they all sounded identical. Like I couldn't tell them apart at all.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I feel about this. Like it's just, to me, you could play Of Mice and Men for me,
Mhm.
and then you could play some other band that, I can't think of any off the top of my head, some other band that falls into that genre, and I probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And I'll say it's not. It's just the music isn't bad. I appreciate the musicianship of it. There's certain things where I know I can't do as a guitar player. We talked about it with Slayer. There's certain things that I can't do as a guitar player, so I can appreciate things. I can appreciate the music of it. Who doesn't love a good breakdown every once in a while? But yeah, it's just on the whole, to me, it's very generic. It sounds identical to everything else that was coming out in that scene around this time period.
Right.
To me, like I couldn't tell the difference between this and some other random metalcore band from the same era. So
that's what I'll say. Like this music and this style of music is definitely hard to play. It's difficult to play. Your timing needs to be impeccable and very well rehearsed. So every single stop, every chunk, everything they do on this album that is in unison, that shit is practiced over and over and over again to get it. That's not a studio thing. Like, yeah, you can do shit like that in the studio, but like, and because they do this live, and that's very practiced, very tight.
Yeah.
And you have to be really fucking good as a musician to be able to do that. Some of like when you have songs where the time signatures just change out of nowhere.
Yeah.
As a musician who's done that, like I play 4/4, I play 3/4, I play 6/8. That's fucking it. You know what I mean? When you sit there, like I remember this one song that Disunion had where it was basically in 4, except for our fucking idiot ass drummer for some reason had to have a measure where we played it in 7/4. I'm like, why the fuck are we doing 7/4? He's like, oh, it'd just be cool in the thing. I'm like, fuck, fine, we'll do it. So the rest of the songs in 4/4, except this one measure that had to be in 7/4. And the thing that pissed me off the most about it, we rehearsed the fuck out of this. And I fucking hated the fact that we were doing it in 7/4. Is the first time we played a song live. And I was usually the one fucking it up, but I really worked on it. Sean really worked on it. We were really fucking tight. The first time we fucking play it live, we get to the 7/4 part. Who fucks it up? The fucking drummer. I'm like, man, God. I actually have a video of it. Dude, where it gets that, and you actually see me turn around and look at him and go, what the fuck?
Dude, I don't even know. How do you count 7/4? Like, I don't even fucking.
It's weird. It's a really weird way to count it. I've done it but what's the fucking point? Yeah. What is the point? You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like they change time signatures in the middle of a song.
Yeah.
Impeccably.
And that's, you know what I mean? And that's good. That's something, and I think that kind of lends to. I have a hard time. Like I need to listen to this. If I listen to this album, I need to listen to this album in my car with this display of the song names. Because at a certain point, like you said, they have time signature switches in the middle of a song to the point where at certain points, I don't realize the song has changed.
Yes.
I think that it's just a time switch in the middle of a song.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's impressive that they can do it and they can do it so well. But it makes it difficult for me to listen to the album without watching the song titles change on the screen.
Yep. And the other thing I'll say is like each instrumentalist in this band, like they know their instrument. Yeah. They know how to play it. They know how to play it well.
Hell yeah.
And they're really good at what they do. They're very technical at what they do. So it's not like you're having any fucking sloppy punk rock or just punk. You know, you can't. This band, I would think. I mean, unless it becomes such a muscle memory type of thing, like you're not seeing this band getting all fucked up and trying to play these songs.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because they know how to do it.
Yeah.
So that is all the positives I have to say about this album.
Something else though. I don't think there's many, but I do remember listening to the album on the way up here today. I do remember at least one pinch harmonic. Cannot do it.
What is that?
It's do it sometimes.
I've had two people who all they play and listen to is death metal try to teach me how to do pinch harmonics, and I cannot do it.
I can't explain it. You hit the string in a certain way where you're not fully playing the note. You're just kind of like, it's almost like you're muting the string, but you're not. But it's a certain touch you have to have, and only certain places on the guitar. Unless you're really good. If you're really good, you could do it anywhere on the guitar. I can only do it. Personally, I can only do it on certain frets.
Yeah.
You know, because they're easier to do.
When you play Guitar Hell on a guitar, there's natural harmonics on the guitar. So if you just rest your finger over the 5th fret and play the string, it plays a harmonic. A pinch harmonic, a lot of times, like Uncle Paul said, you can play them on certain, like a lot of times I've seen people play them on the with the natural harmonics. But if you're really good, you can almost play like a false harmonic where you can play a harmonic on a note that normally doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And that's what these metalheads were trying to teach me, was how to play basically false harmonics, and I can't fucking do it at all.
Also, Helly, anytime we're talking, if you don't agree with something we're saying, just fucking tell us to shut up and jump in. And
you're allowed
to.
I don't want to be rude.
You're allowed to speak up.
You're allowed to be rude on here.
Okay, good.
So I'm sorry. Were you done shitting on this album? Can I start shitting on it yet?
I mean, it's like I said, like we said, yes. It's to me, it's very generic. It sounds like everything else that was coming out during this album or during this era. But that being said, I can appreciate the musicianship that goes into making something like
100%, 100%. The musicianship on this album throughout the whole thing is fucking amazing. Yeah, it really is. Every single, well, most of them, except for one guy, is really good.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
So it's really the musicianship is absolutely fucking amazing on this, and we've talked about that with a lot of metal and stuff like that, which I guess I would put these guys kind of like, they're not new metal. They're not like that System of a Down bullshit, which is also another very difficult style of music to play.
If you look it up according to Wikipedia, they're listed as metalcore / post-hardcore.
Yeah, which I get that, and I do get that. So
which we've talked about before, where you kind of just throw like post in front of everything. Post-hardcore, I can understand. It's hardcore music is very screamy and very chunky. You get the post-hardcore with a little bit more melody to it. This is kind of leaning in towards that, like you said, pinch harmonics and breakdowns and stuff with that melodicness of metal. So they call it metalcore.
Yes.
Do you have another non-alcoholic?
Another non-alcoholic? I do not. Would you like some water now?
Damn it, I'm good.
Can I have a regular alcohol?
Actually, hold on.
That's not a chelada.
Then you're going to need to run out.
Oh, okay. I'll punch you in the
Actually, if you want, grab another non-alcoholic there for Haley. All right, so I'll continue while your dad, he's not your brother, it's your dad. That's weird, but because you're only like 3 years younger than him. But at any rate, so.
Oh my god, I'm fucking dead.
I will tell you flat out, I do not like this album. Don't like it. I'm not a fan of this style of music. I've never really been a fan of hardcore or screamo or metal like this. There is metal that I like, but not this style of metal. This one thing I am going to wait for your dad to come back before I say it to see what he says. As he's taking his time. Okay, so one of the things I will say is that, and Adam, listen up here as you're walking in. I feel like this style of music in general is this style of music is written by drummers for drummers.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that 100%.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes, it's a horrible thing because drummers are fucking idiots. So I'll say that number one. I fucking hate drummers, except for my drummer. I love my drummer, Brian Kelly. I do love you sometimes. Most of the time.
Is he dead? Should we cheers?
No. He's still my drummer.
Sometimes Paul wants to kill him, but he's not dead yet.
Yes, exactly. I'll tell you what. He's been the longest drummer I've ever had consistently in the band, ever, like all time. And he's very solid. He's very in the pocket. And I love him. But like, this is a complete and total overuse of the double bass drum pedal throughout the whole fucking album.
And I feel like that's something that was kind of like a telltale for stuff in this era, in this scene.
But it's stupid. There's like good uses of double bass, and there's overuse of double bass. And double bass isn't a new thing. It's really not. Like, if you go back to a lot of stuff, there's some really cool. And there are times, and even on this, there are times where the double bass has a nice little rhythm to it. Where I'm like, all right, cool. But I don't need to hear constantly.
A lot of the
And the other thing that pisses me off, I fucking guarantee this drummer is that fucking idiot who has to put the fucking quarter on the like the mallet, and then a quarter on the tape it to the fucking bass drum, like the head, so that way it makes a more metallic sound while it's fucking hitting.
I have a question.
I hate that bullshit.
That's a thing.
That's a thing, and it's fucking stupid. But anyway, go
on. Was there any other album that you responded to in such a nasty way?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm questioning: should this even be seen by Austin Carlisle?
Absolutely, it should. Absolutely.
If art is widely if art is accepted on a broad spectrum, it's not good.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Art, if you're making something that's not ridiculed by somebody, it's not art.
Listen, I said good things already about this album.
Yeah. So, but I will agree with you completely that this album is made for and by drummers.
Yes, and it's I was honestly surprised to read today that they had a bass player, because the bass on this album is just not there.
Yeah,
it's completely just not there.
Like little to none.
It's little to none, and he's not doing anything interesting, because that's the thing too. You can have a bass heavy album where you have multiple guitars with the heavy bass drum, right? But then the bassist is doing something. Yeah, there's something melodic to the bass. This dude's just playing like the fucking root note as well. It's like, you don't need it. You don't need bass. You don't need a bass player for this band.
I think sadly that's also a telltale of the. It's almost like bass players have almost become like a meme, because of, I feel like this era and genre of music, because like you said, they don't do much, and it's a shame, because there's some, like when we covered When we covered Violent Femmes, I said Paul identifies as a bass player.
Mm-hmm.
It makes 100% sense why Paul would pick that album, because it's a very bass heavy, bass forward album. So it's I'm not saying like Paul was saying that he hates drummers. I'm not saying I hate bass players. Some bass players are fucking amazing.
Yep. Some of the most amazing bass players, like, honestly, I'm gonna say it. I've gone on the record many times saying I hate Led Zeppelin. John Paul Jones.
Wow.
Fucking great bass player.
There's
amazing great player.
There's a joke I always heard is like, you know who my favorite bass player is?
Who?
The keyboard player's left hand.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't get it.
Well, because you play the bass.
When you play the bass note on the left hand with your with the left hand.
So, you know, another great, and probably in my opinion the greatest all time bass player is John Entwistle from the Who.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have Les Claypool from Primus and all the other things he does. These are amazing. Ska, if you fucking listen to ska,
yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people talk shit about ska, right? And
never heard of it.
To an extent, I guess ska basically is what the sound of ska is what it's like when like a 12-year-old boy gets an extra chicken finger in his order chicken.
Mozzarella.
Yeah, it's real stick chicken finger. Either way, that's what ska sounds like.
To put it, ska. Do you know reggae music?
Unfortunately.
All right, so imagine if reggae had like a more predominant horn section,
and a little and more upbeat.
A little more upbeat reggae with a horn section is pretty much ska.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. It's great stuff.
And you've heard ska because
Yes.
I've played ska. Like you've heard like Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, and you've heard the specials and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've heard these bands in my
No
car.
Doubt. Are you familiar with No Doubt?
Yeah.
They're
early No
Yeah,
Doubt is ska.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. It's like, you know, like you don't need a bass for this. And there are good bass players out there, and you just lose that on this album. I'm not saying that's typical for this complete genre because I don't know this genre complete, so I can't say that like that's how it is. I'm just saying on this album, you literally could have just like gotten rid of the bass player, split the money one less way, and just turned up the low end on your fucking amps, and you're taking care of your bass there. You know, so I will also acquiesce to the fact that I was much older when this style of music came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to go back to it,
It's very much like how I said the Hooters, that album wasn't made for me.
Right.
This album, this genre is not made for you.
Right. It's not. Is it made for you, Haley?
Yes.
Okay.
I personally think so.
All right. Good. So
I say, don't get me wrong. I appreciate things in this genre. I've tried to turn Haley onto, like I said, this band I feel like suffers from the genre copycat syndrome. I've tried to turn Haley onto other bands that I think this band is kind of emulating that doesn't do as well as those bands.
Like?
I've tried to, and actually you do enjoy them. I've tried to turn you on to Under Oath.
I don't have them on my phone, but yes, I like it.
But Under Oath is, they're not, I wouldn't say their music is as they're probably more towards the screamo side of it, not like the metalcore side of it, but they do that screaming, screamy melodic, with a breakdown thrown in there.
I want to learn how to scream with
Jesus
bad.
thrown in.
Well, yeah, but okay, so
yeah.
all right. Oh, God.
Oh no.
As a vocalist, why would you want to do that to yourself?
I don't know.
So you do realize that it's not good.
There is a way to and I'm going to get into it in a second too.
Okay.
There is a way to sing expressively and let that emotion come out.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like it's possible. There's a way to do it, and I'll get into that in a second. But I wanted to go back real quick. But as a vocalist, again, I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself. Why would you do that to your instrument?
I don't know. This is probably going to sound so stupid, and you can judge me all you want for this. I don't know. I just, after hearing Austin Carlisle do it, I just thought it seemed really, really cool. And like I said, that's this band was like what turned me on to that genre. And what the hell are you laughing at?
I thought you were just gonna be like, "Oh, if that asshole can do it, anybody can." Do it.
I'm an asshole. No.
Oh, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna jump my notes a little bit because there's some stuff I want to talk about here. Go back to some of what you said. So the vocals. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the vocals of this album.
Okay.
The problem with this album that I find that I find the most wrong with this album is the fact that I don't understand what he's saying. Okay, and that's I get it. I get the style. I get the dirty vocal. I get the screaming, and I've also realized that a lot of guys who like sing this style of music.
Mhm.
They really just talk like this. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I'm gonna sing a song for you.
Yeah.
It's like, and the thing is though, the music
Mhm.
itself and the style of music
Mhm.
does not do enough for me
Yeah.
to make me want to go back and figure out what he's saying.
Mhm.
It's like it's one of those things, like I feel like this is sung by a 2-year-old who is really upset and screaming and getting all their emotion out, and you understand that they're upset, but you don't know why, and you don't know why they're screaming. Austin Carlisle, please use your words. Use your big boy words so we can understand what you're screaming about and what you're upset about. And then maybe we can identify with what has gotten you to that point that you have to sing like that.
Does my face look pissed off?
No, this is, well, hell, you also have to remember,
Yeah.
this is coming from a person who writes his own music, and so to Uncle Paul, lyrics are very, very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're a very, very important part of the song.
I think so too. I write my own lyrics.
Yes. So, but you're in love with Austin Carlisle, so he can do no wrong. But
he could be a serial killer, and I'd still.
But so what he's saying is part of the thing Uncle Paul looks for in a song is the meaning behind the lyrics, and you can't get that. He's missing that entire portion of that because of the way that it's sung.
But yeah, because of the way it's sung and the style, and that's the thing too. The style of music does not do enough for me to want to go back and look. And the reason I say this is because one of my favorite bands in the whole wide world, and one of the bands that turned me on to punk rock and the music that I eventually played, Minor Threat.
What band is that?
It's a band from like the early 80s, and they're a hardcore punk band. And if you just throw on Minor Threat, you can't understand a fucking word. You can't understand any of the lyrics that Ian MacKaye is saying. But because of their music and what their music was, and the note that it hit with me, it got me. And I got the emotion that Ian MacKaye was putting out there with all the Minor Threat stuff. I got it. It hit me. It hit me at the right place. I went back and listened to
Why do I know that name? Was he in something else?
Fugazi.
Okay. That's why I was like, we feel like we mentioned him in the Fugazi episode.
I went back and I listened to it over and over again. I looked up the lyrics. I know the lyrics. And because of that, I can identify with it. But the music was enough to get me there. You could understand some of his music, but that's a perfect example of the emotional screaming and hardcore sound in your face, music and the frustration, and that's what a lot of that is. And I think that's the issue I have with it, is that you can hear that there's frustration in the lyrics. You could hear in his expression that he's frustrated. I'm sure he's not like singing, cats are beautiful. I'm sure that's not what he's saying there. Do you know what I mean? You can tell just by what's coming out of that there is some definitely raw emotion. I've always said, I haven't written a lot of songs lately because I'm happy, right? And so the only time I can really write songs is when I'm pissed off. And the reason that is because those are the feelings that I don't want to keep inside. So that's how I get them out, is to write these songs about things that piss me off.
I've always heard a quote that says something along the lines of if creating art doesn't make you want to kill yourself, you're doing something wrong.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
Because you're putting out the like Uncle Paul said, you're putting out the things that piss you off, the things that don't make you feel good, the things that you're trying to get out. And I can understand entirely. It's very hard to and this is coming from someone who I listen to a lot of screamy stuff. I listen to a lot of heavy stuff. And it's definitely difficult to relate to what you're listening to because you can't understand.
Yep. And the one thing I will say is, like, I don't want to sound like an old guy shitting on new music, because I don't feel that way. Like I'm that person who, like, I will never tell you that there's not new music coming out that's good, because there is good new music coming out. Whether or not it's I identify it or I like it or it's for me, that's a whole different conversation. So I don't want to sound like that old fucking fugly dude who's like, oh yeah, no, there's no good music coming out, because that's a bullshit statement. Because there's lots of great art being made by people who I don't even know or understand. So that's kind of the thing, and that is one of the things that I lose on it, is that dirty vocal that's put out there. I lose that. Hurts the songs for me. Not that I was particularly high on the songs anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I definitely, because of that, and I can't understand a fucking word he's saying.
I wish the lyrics were in Braille, or like, you know how when you're listening to music on your phone, like you can see it on your screen? I wish that had Braille.
Speaking of Braille and songs, what was the name of the fucking Stevie Wonder album that you got, Haley?
Oh, fuck, man. I gotta go back to the pilot episode. That was like 70 years ago. Talking Books.
Talking Books. Okay. We were talking about this earlier because Haley had asked today what was the first album that we covered, and I said, well, you and I picked the stuff for the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not remember the name of the fucking Stevie Wonder Talking Books. I knew it was something book.
Which the reason I got that for you was because the liner notes were, well, he was in blind and the liner notes were in Braille.
Yeah.
Was he blind at birth too?
As far as I know, yeah. Yep. Although there is a theory going around that Stevie Wonder's not actually blind.
What?
Did you ever hear that?
No.
Yeah, because like there's like scenes where you would see like a mic stand starts to fall and he just reaches out and grab it and shit like that. So
see, it always made me laugh. I forget. If anybody remembers the classic film Wild Wild West starring Will Smith.
Oh, well, yeah.
Wild
Wild West.
Of course, it was a movie that Will Smith was in, so he had to have a rap for that song.
Of course.
Yeah. Down.
Exactly.
Wild Wild West.
I never heard it though.
So Stevie Wonder is in the music video.
Uh-huh.
And there's a part in the music video where I had to laugh because like at one part I think in the music video, Will Smith enters the room and everyone kind of looks, but Stevie Wonder kind of looks the opposite way. And I'm like, oh shit, they should have done a different take.
Oh, that's good. That's actually probably the best take.
Or maybe that was done on purpose, like to be funny.
Could have been.
Maybe, because I laughed at it.
I have a confession, I've actually been lying about my blindness too.
Oh, I can see that. How many fingers am I holding up?
6.
Nope.
Damn it.
It was just one. I was giving you the one finger salute there.
He was giving you the middle finger.
Oh, well, I can do that too.
Oh, all right. So that being said, one of the things that you had mentioned, Adam, was about how like I forget exactly what you said, but how like you tried to like what was it, like other genres, like other music similar to this that you tried to introduce.
Oh yeah.
To. So one of the things that actually this album made me do was as I'm listening to it, I got, and it's not exact, especially since I went back and listened to it because I hadn't listened to the album in a while. Okay. I got vibes of a band and an album that I like fucking love that maybe go back to, and it was basically maybe go back and listen to The Last at the Crematorium by the Mars Volta.
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay.
Which is their first album, and I love this album. And I'm not saying it's and when I say can
I pause you for a second?
Yes.
Never in my wildest dreams would I imagine that you ever said that you like a Mars Volta album. I wouldn't even imagine that you know who the Mars Volta is.
This is a Mars Volta.
Yeah. I've never even heard of it.
They're awesome. Now, here's the thing. I've never delved into the Mars Volta after The Last at the Crematorium. Just never did. Yeah. Just never got into it. And I know.
Why is that? Did they switch vocalists too?
No, I just never followed up on it. Like I love that album. I listened to that album, and I just, I forget when that album came out. I think it was like late 90s.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of shit going on at that time. You know what I mean? So I just, I wasn't as into as much new music as I necessarily wanted to be, or following bands over.
Yeah.
But like, no, that was actually
2003.
Oh, okay. It's still pretty early. I was definitely, I got vibes of that album from listening to this. And I'm going to tell you, like I know I'm shitting on your album here.
Yeah.
But I've no less than 10 times have I listened to this album in the last week. And I'm not even kidding. Like I was mowing the lawn today and I listened to it again to go through it, even though like I was pretty sure I had my mind made up on like how I felt about the album and I had my thoughts together. But I listened to it again today while mowing the lawn, which is how I do this a lot of times. But seriously, no less than 10 times have I listened to this album. So I've given it its fair shot.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Wow. I'm not even sure if I want it to be seen by Austin Carlisle for all your like negative attitudes. And speaking of which, I wanted to.
But it's fine because for all of our negative attitude, there's just a fountain of positive energy coming from you. So.
Yeah, I wanted to. You're probably wondering, those of you who are about to watch, like, why is this girl obsessed with Austin Carlisle?
Because you're a stalker.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no! No! I wanted to get
100% stalker.
huge shout out. So there's this app. It's called Cameo. Where for those of you that don't know,
it's not an app. It's a website.
oh, it's a website.
By the way, I tried signing up for it.
My bad.
I think they'll actually let me do it.
You're not
pretty
for this.
I think they will. I just looked into it very briefly. I'm like, oh fuck, they'll actually let me move forward.
I thought it was an app. Sorry, I messed up.
Okay.
It's this thing where like you can reach out to somebody famous and say, hey, can you send a message? It could be for like multiple occasions, but like mostly for your birthday.
My favorite? There's a Cameo.
Yeah.
Shit. What's the name of the guy?
Yeah.
He's like a famous musician. I can't remember what the name of the guy. Smokey Robinson.
Okay.
I think it's Smokey Robinson. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pretty sure it's Smokey Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Was someone hired him to do a cameo because apparently he grew up across the street from like the person's mom.
Oh.
And they hired him to do a cameo to wish them a happy Hanukkah.
Aw.
But
Yes.
they spelled Hanukkah. Apparently, some people spell Hanukkah with the C, and some people spell it without the C.
Why?
And they spelled it with the C.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wished them a happy Hanukkah, he wished them a happy Chanukah. He's like, I don't know what Chanukah is, but happy Chanukah. Oh my God, that's fucking amazing.
That's great. Well, I've heard of other things.
Yeah.
There was a cameo that someone did.
Yeah.
A girl actually
Mm-hmm.
did the cameo to break up with a guy.
Oh my God.
And it was like right before like he had like some like giant like exam or something like that.
That's awesome.
But apparently, and for some reason I feel like it was Mark McGrath from or Mark McGrath, however you fucking say his name, from Sugar Ray.
Oh my
And,
God.
and he was just like, you know what, man? You know what? Fuck her. You're better off with that. Like basically, he flipped this guy. Like he's like, this bitch just basically hired me to break up with you. You don't need this girl. What the fuck? Is basically what it came.
I was right. It was Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson.
If you Google Smokey Robinson Hanukkah cameo, you will find a bunch of videos of Smokey Robinson mispronounces Chanukah.
Chanukah, nice. All right, so go back.
Its usual purpose is for birthdays. So last year I wanted to send fan mail to him, and my nana, my mom's mom, she was helping me try and look up where to send it to. Like I said before, I make and sell jewelry. I wanted to give him a couple pieces, and I wanted to braille something and have it transcribed, which means like someone with sight will write over top of it. So she looked up how to send fan mail. I forgot how to talk for a second. I'm having a stroke. I'm kidding. How to send fan mail to Austin Carlisle, and all that came up was his Instagram, which like didn't really matter because I had already been following him. Oh, and he follows me back.
Following.
Slow down.
Sorry.
Following.
I had already been
stalking.
Yeah.
Stop it. I can't even see what he posts. I get kind of annoyed when he posts something because I can't see it for myself.
Oh.
And I feel like if I ask my mom, she'll probably be like annoyed. I'm just assuming, but I'm just like getting in my head, if that makes sense.
Okay, I understand.
And then what came up was that he did Cameo. Now I said to my nana, I was like, I don't like the idea of Cameo. I feel like it's like scripted and half-assed and just like not genuine, and like their voice sounds so unenthusiastic, sorry. It's like, hi, so-and-so, it's whoever, and then whatever the hell the occasion is. Like, the only thing they change in each video is the name of the person.
Right.
And, like, as they're submitting it, they're probably thinking, like, another day, another stupid fan, at least now I can get their money.
Do you know Uncle Zach's friend Tim?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, when him and his wife had their first child, their gender reveal was a cameo from somebody. I think it was somebody from The Office.
Oh, really?
Oh no, you know who it was?
Who?
It was it was the newscaster from Parks and Recreation.
Oh my God.
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yeah, it was the newscaster from Parks and Rec. They got him to do a cameo, like revealing what gender the baby
cool.
was.
That's pretty cool.
So, I had expressed said negative feelings towards the site to my nana, but she didn't really care. And like I said, this was a year ago. So as my 18th birthday came closer and closer, she said to my mom, she was like, "Oh, you got to do this for HL." For her birthday. So she kept blowing up my mom's phone every day, like, did you do it yet? Did you do it yet? And my mom was like, okay, I'm finally gonna do it. And so the one day I had gotten home from school pretty early. All we had was graduation rehearsal from high school, and I heard my mom say to one of my aunts, if you don't hear back in a week, then you get your money back. I knew what she was talking about, but I thought she was saying that because it's optional, it's not even worth trying.
Mm-hmm.
So the date was June 3rd of 2023. It was 6 days before I turned 18. It was
the day before my birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Wow. You don't know when my birthday is?
I couldn't even tell you dad's.
That's messed
No, I'm
up.
kidding.
That is messed up.
I'm so sorry.
I'm your cool Uncle Paul. Wow.
I'm
Wow.
sorry.
It's okay.
So it was 2 a.m, and my mom said she was like struggling to fall asleep. She's probably an insomniac.
Mm-hmm.
If she's not up all night, then she'll be asleep and not wake up until like noon.
There you go.
Sorry, I just googled. I'm older than the baseball player on my
Carl
on
Schwarber.
my
Yeah.
beer can.
Yeah.
He was born in 1993.
Yeah.
Not by much.
Nah.
So it was 2:30, and just as my mom was about to close her eyes, I guess he lives in a different time zone because why would you?
He lives in Costa Rica.
Is it creepy that I know that?
Well, he's just hanging out with P. Diddy,
Yeah.
hiding from the law.
Is there anything wrong with the fact that I know that?
Okay.
I mean, you're just stalking a little bit.
It's
cool.
Stop it.
Stalker.
funny that you say that, Paul. Continue.
So I guess it's a different time zone. Here in Philly, we live in what's called the Eastern time zone.
What's the time zone in Costa Rica? Continue.
Yeah, go on.
And so it was 2:30 in the morning, and just as my mom was about to close her eyes, her phone went off. So she's like, "Who the hell is texting me in the middle of the night?" Here, it wasn't a text. The message was sent to her email.
Okay.
She listened to it, and then she felt like, so she could have waited another 6 days. Hell, she could have waited for it to be a decent time for people to be awake. So
just to pause you for a second. It appears that Costa Rica is in Central Time.
Okay.
Which
It's
is
like 2 hours.
2 hours behind.
I think Central is 1 hour. Yeah,
that's right.
Central was
Mountain
a year.
time is
Mountain's 2 hours. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Central is 1 hour, Mountain is 2, and Pacific is 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Central Standard Time is currently 6:49 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
in San Jose, example city, San Jose.
Uh-huh.
And it's 8:49 here. So
and it's 8:49 here, so it's 2 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
So-
yeah. Ha! There you go.
So it was midnight
What
there.
kind of stalker are you?
Uh-huh.
You don't even know.
I'm not a stalker!
You don't even
Damn it.
know. You know the
So-
time zones.
So I was like sound asleep, and I woke up to my bedroom
First
door
rule of
opening.
stalking: know the time zone they're in, and know what time it is there.
The fact that I didn't know the time proves that I'm not a
Second rule
creep.
of stalking: know a list of their fears and their blood type.
Go on, Kate. Go on.
I was like sound asleep, and I woke up to my bedroom door opening. One, I already have bad anxiety as is.
Uh-huh.
That's why I'm on Zoloft.
No, aren't we all?
I'm dead serious too.
That's fine.
So, but I feel like anybody would be like terrified if you got woken up in the middle of the night by your parents. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, what?
Except on Christmas.
Slow down. You're talking.
I'm sorry.
You're talking like a mile a minute.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I don't even realize. So
Well, do you like Christmas? It's okay to get woken up in the middle of the night by your parents, right?
possibly
Okay. All right.
But-
Okay. Go on.
it was June. So
You know,
I
Christmas
was-
in June.
I was asking her. I was like, what happened? What's wrong? I'm pretty sure at one point I asked her who died,
No, that's
and she goes,
Austin Carlisle.
"No." I kid you not. I got this for my birthday last year. I have a shirt that says Austin Carlisle or die.
There you go.
So my mom was like,
one of my biggest regrets in life.
yeah,
There's two
Oh,
regrets.
yeah.
Two regrets in my life.
Is this where I can cut you off? Yeah.
Was-
Taylor Swift or die, whatever.
Was,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that to you, dickhead.
was one of them having a kid at 14?
No. My I don't regret that at all. My two
Oh,
biggest
thank you.
regrets in life are both not buying something, and one of them was a T-shirt that said Taylor Swift or die.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's just a funny fucking T-shirt.
People would think you're gay.
No.
Oh, even if they do, I mean, I think they do anyway.
I don't-
It's it's June's Pride Month, so it's okay.
Exactly.
I don't know. Listening to Taylor Swift, if you're a guy, doesn't seem like the most masculine.
This is
thing.
coming out. This will be released after
July. It'll be in July.
I say
Yeah.
we are currently we are currently
In Pride Month.
In Pride
right
Month.
now.
I think it goes without saying.
Yeah.
This podcast is an ally.
It is.
Yeah.
We are an ally.
We're an ally. On this
100% an
podcast.
ally. Yep. But anyway, go on. So your mom wakes you up.
In a voice so chill, she was like, "Do you want your present early?"
That's creepy.
I was like,
That is kind of creepy.
I was like so confused because it's not that I wanted something to be
Was she
wrong.
Hello, Haley. Do you like your present?
You like a present?
It's not that I wanted there to be something wrong. It's just, like I said, what do you expect when you're woken up at 2:30?
Yeah.
Still screaming, Clarice.
Yes.
So I said, yeah, sure. So she lays down next to me and puts her phone between
sure.
her two hands.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
I said, yeah, sure, sir. But
Why do you look so nervous?
Me?
this is more Super Trooper.
Yes,
Okay.
I recall.
I couldn't tell you what facial expression I make.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
So she lays down next to me and puts her phone in between our two heads. And like I said, I thought
She has two heads?
Two heads, yeah.
put her phone in between our two heads.
Okay.
No. So, like I said, I didn't think that Cameo was like genuine. I thought it was scripted.
Uh-huh.
I have never been so happy to be wrong.
Okay. Nice.
I can't really speak for all famous people, but what he sent me was like 5 minutes long and just beautiful.
And this was Austin Carlisle.
Yes.
He did. Like I say, the cameos I've seen, Smokey Robinson ones included,
Uh-huh.
are usually very short and usually like 2 or 3 minutes long. He did send her a very well. Apparently, Haley's mother also sent him like a 3-page essay on Haley. But he did send a very like long, personalized, like very very good, nice message, which was, it was nice to see that someone, took the time to
Yes.
do something like that for a fan.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he also
Mhm.
he shared one of your bead posts, didn't he? Like on his
Yeah,
Instagram?
I was gonna say that.
Was it a
so,
bead post or was I thought he
Both.
Or was it a song?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know the bead post. I thought he'd only shared one of the songs.
So Dave likes to mess with me and say, "Oh, he only did it for the money." But I'm like, well, if he only did it for the money, then why would this happen? So a month.
No, he did it for the nookie.
Yeah, we all
my God.
did it all for the next.
All for the nookie.
I hear that a lot in Dave's car.
Dave, listen to Olympic.
My fan now.
Oh my god!
Unless he's listening to break stuff.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I laughed so hard I thought I was gonna piss myself.
Don't piss yourself. That'd be bad. I'm not cleaning you up. That's weird.
So this one day, I actually ended up recording a video of myself playing an Of Mice and Men song.
Mhm.
The same day that he sent me the cameo. What?
Was it one of the ones we did?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you weren't included in this.
I was
Just her. Why is it gonna be about
It was
you?
just me on Instagram playing my
you-
keyboard.
Okay, because
Yeah.
You self-centered bastard.
Haley,
Let her shine. Do her thing. God damn it! You couldn't be mad enough to give her sight. You let her take this on her own. What the fuck?
Haley and I have posted. It's funny because
Oh my God.
whenever I use the McDonald's app to like place my order, so I use Google. I just signed in with Google on the McDonald's app, but my Google thing is paired to my YouTube thing, and my YouTube thing is Haley Lee Music.
Okay.
So whenever I go and I use the McDonald's app, I pull up and I say, "Hey, I used the app to place an order. This is my code." And they go, "For Haley?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Did you ever see my last video? The one that I recorded myself?
Probably.
I bet you didn't see it.
No, I did not. I lived it. So, the day that I received the cameo, I actually recorded a video of myself playing
What song?
Of Mice and Men, Farewell to Shady Glade.
There you go. On this album.
Yes. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say it. So I already knew that I wanted to record that song, and on that day, I only had one Of Mice and Men shirt, and that's the one that I'm wearing right now.
Mhm.
So the day before, I said to my nana, we weren't going to be home for a while because she was watching me and my brother and then my two cousins at my aunt's house. Because think about it like this. Who's easier to drag out of the house at 6 a.m? An 8 and 4-year-old or 19 and 9-year-old?
8 and 4-year-old.
8 and 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
18-year-olds are shitheads.
Yeah.
So
They are.
I said to her, I was like, tomorrow I'm going to record myself playing Of Mice and Men. I'm going to wear my Of Mice and Men shirt. And like I said, I only had one at the time, so that was a big deal.
Okay.
And then I literally put in the caption, I said, I knew I wanted to record, and then I received the cameo, and I had more of a reason to do so. So, a month later, I got a notification. I got a couple notifications on Instagram saying that he liked that reel, and then another reel. This is surprising. I had been singing since according to my mom, since I can talk. And then I taught myself how to play the keyboard when I was 8, but up until a year ago, I had never done them both at the same time. And it was N of Mice and Men song, of course.
Mhm.
Can I say it was on this album?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Another song on this album. It was called 7,000 Miles for What?
Okay.
And so I got a notification on Instagram like a month later, and it said that he liked both reels and put comments on them. So every time Dave likes to mess with me and says it was only for the money, he didn't have to do that. I wonder how he found my account, because so my mom and I have this joke.
Is it because when the one time when you were stalking him and you were in his house looking
Stop
over
it.
him while he was sleeping, you went into his Instagram and
Stop
you
it.
made him follow your account? Is that what happened?
Stop it. So my mom and I have this joke.
Just travel to Costa Rica without anybody knowing.
We say that she wrote so much when she reached out that he probably knows my
Yeah.
social
It's
security.
okay. That's cool.
She said she felt like he had to know the full story. And so one thing she surprisingly didn't mention was the name of my account on Instagram. So
So he's stalking you.
Stop it. He does follow me.
Well, there you go.
So he
Creeper.
he
Austin
liked-
Carlisle, you're a creeper.
he liked a lot of my reels of me playing, and then the one day, the reel in which I played and sang 7,000 Miles for What? I got a notification, and I said to my mom, I didn't know how to check my notifications on my own at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can you read this? She's like, it's probably nothing, Hale. I was like, well, you won't know. I was like, well, you won't know until you try. So she takes my phone, and on repeat, she keeps saying, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, Mom, what? And then there's like silence. I'm like, in case you forgot, I can't see, so this isn't helpful.
Yes.
Here, he posted that on his story and on his account.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
not.
awesome.
It's not there anymore. I wonder why.
His
It's
story?
after a while.
Stories only last for 24 hours.
No, I think it was also a reel. I forget.
They can update stuff every now and then, but like this is definitely because they always tell you, like, you know, don't meet your heroes because you're going to be disappointed. And I know you didn't actually meet him in person except
Yeah.
for when you stalk him.
Stop it.
You know, but this does sound like a very positive experience of like kind of like meeting one of your heroes. Like where's this the thing too? Like I've met some people who like I've looked up to or you know, like musically or as actors or whatever, and I don't think I've ever been disappointed. So like
I don't
that's
think
a
so
thing.
either.
I think it's like it's one of those things where they say don't meet your heroes. No, actually do meet your heroes. I think you absolutely should meet your heroes and reach out to them and connect. Like we've even done that on like the podcast where it's just kind of like what in my right mind did I have like reaching out to Skinny Lister and saying,
Yeah.
do you guys want to do this interview on our podcast? Like why did Andre Darlington, writer of Booze and Vinyl with Tanaya Darlington, why did I tag him in the thing? If we don't want to reach, we won't want to, you know, reach out to our heroes. And he shared it and he liked it, and that's awesome. And he comments and like that's great. I think that's awesome, and I do think that is great. That you know he was able to that he likes your stuff, that he follows you on Instagram, and he shares it, and I think that's awesome. You know, but unfortunately, this is not a good album, Haley.
I'm sorry to hear that. So a few months ago, so back in September of this past year, like you were talking about with my jewelry. So it was like I posted this 2 days before his birthday. The only reason why I know when it is because I wanted to look up as much information as possible when playing Akinator.
Okay.
It's a game on your phone where you have to think of somebody famous and it asks questions about them. And sometimes it'll ask when their birthday is, so I wanted to know as much as possible.
Like you didn't already know.
Stalker. So I didn't want to post it on his actual birthday because I didn't want it to come off creepy, so I did.
So you did it the day before.
I guess you could call it subliminal. I don't know. So I did it 2 days before.
Yeah, there you go. That's my little stalker. You know, you know how to do this.
So like,
oh, is it 2 days before your birthday? I didn't know. Did you buy him a gun rack?
No.
Posted 2 days before.
And then he's like, "Why did you buy me a gun rack? I don't own a gun, let alone many."
It was a piece. It's funny you said that because it was a bracelet, and my mom described the color as gunmetal.
Oh, so you did buy him a gun rack?
Not really. So
that is a Wayne's World reference. If nobody's got that.
I posted that reel that night, and then the next day, I come out of my room, and I'm about to take my pills, and then my mom comes out, and she's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." So I thought she missed her alarm, making my brother late for school.
Okay.
Or because my grandparents and my uncles were all staying at my house and we only have one bathroom.
Oh.
And somebody beat her to it.
Okay.
So I thought, good morning to you too, Mom.
Right.
She doesn't seem too happy, so I'm not going to talk to her. Here, she went on Instagram, and the first thing that she saw was he put that reel on his story.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's happened a handful of times, actually.
Nice. So I've never really been much into hardcore, more into punk.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more into emo.
I like them both.
You know, but like goth to an extent. So I think that's why this album doesn't really do it for me. It's just it is what it is. Adam, what are your thoughts on this album? Like final thoughts kind of thing.
Just that, like, it's like we've said before, you know, we've said about multiple artists in the past. I can appreciate the musicianship behind it. It's just not for me.
Right.
Like I said, it was coming out in that era where I've often joked that, you know, I don't listen to anything that I didn't listen to in high school, is because the stuff that was coming out right after I graduated high school, it all sounded the same to me.
Okay.
Because of the experiences that I had just mentioned, personally, I feel like when I listen to Of Mice and Men, there's like a deeper meaning behind it, like a more sentimental meaning behind it. Is that weird?
No, I think that's actually awesome. I think that's cool. I think like,
and that's the reason why music, I think that's the good thing about music, is that no matter what it is, no matter who's singing it, there's somebody who can relate to what that music is. That music makes somebody feel something, and you know, some people, like you said, you need that sometimes.
Yeah, and like I mean, I don't like this album. Your dad doesn't like this album. You love this album, and that, you know, how we feel about it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of music, and that's one of the reasons why we do this and we talk about these albums, and that's actually really why I'm really excited about the portion of this of this season where we're doing the listeners' picks.
Yeah.
You know, to be exposed to different stuff. Because honestly, if we didn't do this, I never would have fucking listened to Of Mice and Men.
Tablecloth.
I know it keeps moving. We got to do something about the tablecloth. We're trying to be all fancy now on season 2, so like the tablecloth's all over the place. You know, it's a mess. But no, like this is definitely like one of those things where it's just like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for your dad, but it's for you. But that is the amazing thing about music, is that you can have a connection to something that nobody else has that connection. And honestly, with those personal experiences makes it that much better.
And so there's 2 songs that I feel like I have to sing every time I hear them.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
Don't you jump segments, goddammit, child.
Okay,
I don't care if you're blind and my niece. I will fucking punch you.
Wow, that's a low blow.
No, it won't be.
So
right in your fucking throat.
So
wow.
So Haley.
Yes.
We're gonna jump to the next sequential segment.
Okay.
You love this album.
Yes.
Uncle Paul and I don't care for this album.
Yeah.
But there's someone whose opinion that matters more than any of us at this table right now.
It matters way more.
And that's Regina.
Yes.
What does Regina?
This 19-month-old beautiful baby absolutely dislikes this album.
Oh, I feel bad. Like once the screaming started.
Well, that's the thing. This no, she wasn't crying, but this album definitely caused her anxiety.
Oh,
I will say that because we tried, and we I did a couple listens with her, but like you could see her in her car, because that's the thing. We like one of the things about the Regina factor which if you are new to season 2, what we have on this segment here, if you're new to the Country Hipster podcast, is that it's the Regina factor. I have a 19-month-old. She's now 19-month-old, beautiful baby girl upstairs, and she has opinions, very much so, and they are very strong opinions. So we include the Regina factor in every episode as to what Regina thought about the album, and so. She did get a couple listens. The first time, I will be honest, I turned it off about 3 songs in, because she was just like, you know, she was moving around in her car seat. She was not happy. She was making sounds. I put on Hairspray. She was fine. It was over. Everything was right with
Hairspray.
The second time, like she wasn't as animated about her anxiety with it, but like you could tell the album made her uncomfortable, and it probably had to do with the screaming and whatnot, because she's like, in about 6 months, this is what I am going to sound like, Father, and you will have to deal with it at that point.
The terrible twos.
Yes. So, but no. So this one, the first album of season 2, goes down in the Regina factor as a dislike. Since it's episode 1 of season 2, there are no real things there. Yeah. Listeners have a 1 dislike. Adam and I have a half game lead on them, because She hasn't heard our album, our songs yet. So, I'm gonna start with you, Adam. Top 3 songs on this album.
And let's do like explaining like why you.
If you could, you can explain it. You can explain,
Okay.
but go ahead.
Okay.
So I don't have a favorite song
Okay.
Oh my god.
on this album. I mean, like I said, there's certain songs that like have individual like parts and segments that I enjoy. Like there's parts in Second and Sebring that I enjoy. There's parts in Westbound and Down that I enjoy. What's the last song on the album?
This one's for you.
This one's for you. I always forget the fucking name of it.
That's the one I got my tattoo inspired by.
I know. We all know. There's interesting parts in This One's for You. But I don't think like there's a whole song on this album that I like as a whole.
Yeah.
There's bits and pieces, there's little instrumental segments, there's like a breakdown here and there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that I can list as a favorite as a whole.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to jump in before we get to Haley because I think she'll have much more expressing to make about it. I found one song that I would put on my top 3, and that is Second and Sebring.
Okay.
Yes.
That is Second and Sebring. I would put that as a song that where I actually
enjoyed.
I enjoy it. Yeah, no, I'll go that far as to say that I enjoy that. Which if you notice on that album, someone's not singing a whole lot on that album, and his name is Austin Carlisle. So because the other guy knows how to use his big boy words. But so that is I could.
I say Second and Sebring is on the more melodic side.
It is. It's definitely more of I guess he eventually became the bass player. More of him doing the clean vocals is what they call it on the Wikipedia. But yeah, so Second and Sebring is basically the only song I would even consider putting as a top 3 song. I would give an honorable mention to what's the last song called again?
This One's for You.
I'll give an honorable mention to that because the first couple times I heard it, I'm like, all right, this isn't bad. The last couple times I heard it, I'm like, no, this is pretty bad. Yeah. So it at least got me to it's not that bad, but eventually it turned to shit.
Yeah.
So all right, so Haley, I'm assuming you have at least 3 songs that you would call your top 3 on this.
Yeah, I actually have a 4, so I guess I'll make one.
That's fine. No, you got the honorable mention. It's all good.
Okay, so
I have another one.
This is in no particular order. So I'm gonna start with Second and Sebring. Remember I said there's one song that I heard in Dave's car that was probably like the first song that.
Wait, I thought the first song you heard by them was the cover.
I mean.
The first non-cover song?
Yeah, the first song of theirs. Although, actually, when I first started listening to them on my own time, and I had them on shuffle, and I heard the song Westbound and Down, I'm like, hang on a second, I know this.
That's actually one of the things I will say, is that I did find their song titles to be clever.
Okay.
Really?
Westbound and Down, Second and Sebring,
I don't
something about the South.
They don't call it the South for nothing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I did find some of their song titles to be clever, and I did enjoy that.
I don't really understand the meanings behind their song
but that's the thing. I don't think they do, and that's kind of one of the things I like about it. They're just like, we're just going to call this.
I was talking to Haley.
I got a blue shoe. You know what I mean?
I was talking to Haley today.
They don't have a song with that title
about how we talked about it before in the podcast. How the songs on the on Deja and Tender, the titles were too long. I was like, yeah, bands at this point were coming out with songs. That like the names of the songs were long as fuck and they made no sense, but that's just how it was.
I'm still gonna write the Birmingham 6 song "Born in a Puddle of Gasoline."
Yeah,
at some point I'll write. I don't know. I gotta get pissed off about something. Maybe I'll get pissed off about this album and the fact we had covered on that.
Stop
season 2.
Stop
but anyway,
it.
I'm sorry. So your top 3 songs. What do we got?
Okay,
so we
so
got
Second and Sebring. Like I said, that was the song that was actually theirs that turned me onto it. Remember I said I heard a song in the car and I said, what the hell is that called? So, and then Farewell to Shady Glade.
Okay.
That song is like I said, I find that song to be really, really catchy. And then also, I said I recorded that song on the day that he sent me the cameo. Literally in the caption of that reel, I said I already knew that I wanted to record today, and then I had more of a reason to do so.
Yep.
And then 7,000 Miles for What? Not only is it like really catchy, but also what's it called? I said this before. I recorded myself singing and playing it, and then ended up being seen and responded to and even posted by Austin Carlisle. So, Dad, you remember when we were in the car and I said, you're not going to judge me for singing it, right?
Yes.
Every time I hear that song, I have to, and I mean I have to sing it because of that experience.
Okay.
And then also, this one's for you. Again, really catchy. I got my...
That's your honorable mention?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a top 4, but...
It's really surprising to me, honestly, that this one's for you was the honorable mention.
Yeah.
Because is it this arm?
This arm.
Oh, this arm. On this arm, Haley has... It's a Shakespeare...
Wait, that says Uncle Paul's the coolest.
Yeah, I'm
so touched. You got a tattoo that says Uncle Paul's
It's a Shakespeare quote, but she got it because of that song. It says, if music is the food of love, play on.
If music be the food of love, play on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
which when she first told me she got that, I'm like, oh, you're like Frank Turner?
So not only is it from that song, but Austin Carlisle also referenced that same line in the cameo. So I love that. So I love that song. It's really catchy.
But that's what I'm saying. It's surprising me that's not. It wasn't like that wasn't higher up on your.
I don't know if I had to choose. So I posted a reel of myself playing that song, and he ended up seeing it. When I played Second and Sebring, he actually wasn't tagged in it.
Okay.
Because I asked. For the first month or so that I started listening to them, I didn't know his name and I called him the original.
Oh, okay.
So I asked Dave, I was like, he helped me post it. So I was like, can we tag the original? He's like, no. I'm like, what's his name? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, well,
his name is Jeff.
I'm like, can you look it up? He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? He was like, he doesn't sing for them anymore, so it doesn't matter. I'm like, you don't have to be so nasty or just do what I ask. So he actually wasn't tagged in that reel. Anyway, he saw the reel of me playing This One's For You. Also, one thing that I love about that song, and Dad, you know about it too. At the end, he screams.
This One's For You?
Yes.
Yeah.
He screams and holds the note for 12 seconds straight. Oh my god, he is so fucking talented.
Do you know how long Kenny G held a note for?
How long?
45 minutes?
I don't know. Kenny G is Kenny G is like, you know what? You should check out Kenny G. If you like Of Mice and Men, you will love Kenny G.
Kenny G, it's a
soprano sax.
Mm-hmm.
It's very soft rocky bullshit.
Uh-huh.
You'll love it.
Not even soft rock. It's just soft bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Also,
but he held a note on a clarinet on a soprano sax for 45 minutes straight.
Okay, but we're talking about vocals.
No, I know. But it's the same thing with vocals. He has this Pop would say something about this where he could hold a note longer because he had the ability to not only produce sound on the exhale but also produce sound on the inhale.
So the skipper?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
I tried I can't even, when I listen to that song, I can't even hold my breath that long. I tried when we were in the car.
Can't hold your breath for 12 seconds?
Apparently
I'm a
not.
smoker and I can't hold my breath for 12 seconds.
Also, what does smoking taste like? I want to try it, but I...
Whoa!
You have to, in all fairness, you can't because in Pennsylvania you have to be 21 now.
We can give
Used to be.
We can give you non-alcoholic beer, but we can't give you non-alcoholic nicotine.
We can't give you non-nicotine cigarettes.
You can't do that. It looks like you're just going to go straight to weed.
They recently...
You could probably get a medical card for that.
Yeah.
The epilepsy and the blindness. They're like, come on, it'll help me see.
Yeah. I know that helps with... I know that's a thing for seizures, but...
Yeah. They recently changed the smoking age.
Yes,
I think it was a couple years, 2 years ago, they changed the smoking age to 21 in Pennsylvania.
Plus, there's nothing good about smoking.
It's funny. Earlier, I tried one of the candy ones. It was nasty.
Wait, question. Was it the candy ones? Was it the bubblegum ones, or was it the harder ones?
It tasted like mint.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Candy cigarette.
Candy cigarettes.
Oh, just candy cigarettes.
Yeah, if it's just candy cigarettes, those things are fucking great. They taste like paper mache, but they're great.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to have another honorable mention?
Yeah, go for it.
I have a really funny story about this song. I really hope
I don't have anything to say. Just take all the likes.
My cousin won't get mad at me for saying this. So I love the song Those in Glass Houses. And my cousin and I, we have this inside joke. A few months ago, I went out to eat with him, and he was like, so he already likes Of Mice and Men.
Which cousin?
You know my cousin Melanie?
No.
Yeah.
Her husband, Ryan.
I just met him the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, on your birthday.
Yeah. So, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name. Or this story.
What's his name? His first, last name, social security number.
No, it's not Austin Carlisle.
No. So he already likes Of Mice and Men. So we went out to eat a few months ago. It was probably February, and he was like, he was like, I forgot to tell you, the other day, on my recommended on Spotify, I was on the way to work and this Mice and Men song came on. I was like, oh, really? What song is it? And he was like, I think it was called Far From Home. I was like, I listen to them so much that I can tell you right off the bat, they don't have a song with that title. Unless you're talking about one after the album Cold World. I was like, seriously though, if you're listening to their work without Austin Carlisle, I will, no joke, have lost all respect for you. Like I said, without Austin Carlisle, it just doesn't sound right.
Right.
And,
That's what I always say. Not everything.
so I said to him, I was like, is there any way that you can look back on your phone? And he was like, yeah. So he goes back on his phone, looks through Spotify for a little bit, and because we were at a restaurant, he couldn't have it too loud. So he holds his phone really, really close to my face and plays it. And like after playing it for a second, I can tell you right away what song it is. So I was like, are you dense? I'm like, what'd you call it? Far From Home? He's like, yeah. I was like, it's called Those in Glass Houses. So
What an asshole.
so every time I text him whenever I hear that song. Sorry.
Slow down.
Sorry. I love that album. So
People listen to this.
Yeah.
They have a hard enough time listening to me mumble.
I'm sorry. I just really love this album. This band, period. So I every time I listen to that song, I text him and I was like,
well, let's see. You love this band so much. Let's see how much the let's see how the American dollar relates to the album you love.
So this is.
Can
your
I finish
copy
for a
here.
second?
Nope.
All right. Nope.
Okay.
You're done. You're
Okay.
done. Yeah, so this is your album right here.
yeah.
All right. And
God.
what's
This
cool
is,
about
I
this?
say this is Haley's first foray into vinyl. I bought her this and Attack on vinyl for Christmas last year.
And what's cool, this is a neon green translucent vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
So do you like this shade of green?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I didn't even know what color it was until you said it earlier.
No, but it is cool. It is a cool looking color there. This is a 2022 reissue, which is pretty neat. So, all right. So what we're doing is we're going to keep the Discogs value going on because we do have to. Someone has to get the big D, like Adam currently has the big D around his neck. Only around his neck. He has a big D, nowhere else. So that is what's going on here. But so like I want to get the listeners involved with this too. Unfortunately, we're not putting Tom in because we didn't give him enough. We didn't give him enough records.
It'd be really upsetting if the listeners beat us.
I know. And, well,
What do you mean?
here's the thing though. So like this particular copy, yes, we have Haley's copy here, right? And so that's how we've determined this in the past is like what we actually the pressings we have and all that kind of stuff. So here's what we're doing with listeners picks for the Discogs value, okay?
I say I would be comfortable to say I'd be willing to bet money that the only person who might own the thing that they suggested on vinyl is Sean.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Am I allowed to ask what he suggested?
No,
not
on camera.
Not on
Damn it.
camera.
Okay.
So, all right. So here's what we're going to do with the listeners. Okay. So when possible, we are going to take there's usually multiple pressings of an album.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's, so when possible, we're going to look up those multiple pressings and we're going to get an average of those pressings. Now, we're not going to include test pressings. We're not going to include box sets, and we're not going to include deluxe editions. We're not doing it because those things tend to be just more of a retail value anyway. And ultimately, we try not to get into those things as a whole. What we will consider is colored vinyl, as obviously black vinyl. We will consider indie exclusive pressings, and we will consider record store day pressings because those are just kind of like normal pressings. Okay? So when I looked this album up, and as it turns out, there's more when I saw yours, but when I looked this album up, because I didn't have your copy in front of me.
Okay.
When I looked it up, I only found 4 different pressings on Discogs, right? So they were from 2016, 17, 19, and 2022, right? So as we're still going to continue doing, we're going to do the very good plus value.
It's interesting because it's interesting to me that they didn't do like an initial.
Yeah.
run.
I guess they didn't. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like the album came out in 2010.
Yeah.
Why
And-
didn't they do vinyl in 2010? Because vinyl was all so that's the thing. That was technically the beginning of the vinyl revival.
Okay.
So not everything was getting pressed on vinyl
Yeah.
at that point. Only certain things were. And if this was their debut album, that's probably
I feel like we've talked about it before. How like everyone's like, oh, you know, I hear vinyl's making a comeback.
It's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, it made its comeback and it's back. We've talked that it's the only physical medium of music that's actually growing.
Mm-hmm. It's outsold CDs again this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know,
I feel like it's there. Like everything, like things I wouldn't even expect are going. Like you talked about it before. You mentioned it briefly on one of the episodes. Like Ariana Grande has a fucking. You can fucking buy Ariana Grande shit.
I just got a Dua Lipa's newest record in stock on vinyl. You know what I mean? So you know,
I'm sorry, is that now in stock in the Oxford?
That is now in stock at the Oxford Record Garage, as well as to do the recently released Iron and Wine album. You know, on a clear vinyl with some blue splatter. I have that. It's an indie exclusive. So there's a lot of good stuff at OxfordRecordGarage.com, where if you use promo code 2TWO at checkout, you can save 15% off of your entire order.
Now is that
a podcast specific?
I say that is the podcast
promo
specific.
code.
Yes.
Yes, and that's good until the end of July. All right. So, like I said, I found 4 different pressings. All of them had different prices. I'm not going to go through each individual price because that's just going to get monotonous. But what it comes down to is that the average price of this album for a Very Good Plus comes in at $47.10.
Damn.
So that rounds it up to $48.
Which is actually less than if I remember correctly, I paid about I think I paid $40 for this when I bought it for Haley for Christmas.
But we've talked about that too, where sometimes the Very Good Plus value doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's selling for. You know what I mean? So,
and I also
will
say when I bought this for Haley and it was shipped to me, it was factory sealed.
Okay, that's cool.
So I would give something. I would assume something that's factory sealed would have a mint or near mint.
But okay, so that's the other thing too.
The different how like
it's never been played, never been touched.
The quality of the Yep.
I
think it was the other one that came from Canada.
Well, the other thing with it too is it's a this particular copy is a 2022 release. You know, generally if you're not a price gouging asshole selling on Discogs, if you're a legitimate retailer such as Ottsville Record Garage, you are given a suggested retail price. So you know, the suggested retail price on this for a brand new copy might have been $39.99, which is why you probably paid $40 for it. But again, this is the average. Like the 2016 release, like pressing of this was worth almost $60, whereas like the 2022 release was about $33. You know what I mean? So it's in there. So that's where, you know, we get our average price. So right now the listeners are leading because it's episode 1 on the Discogs, the race to the Big D,
and not just
at $48.
Not just that's a nice healthy. That's a nice
start.
Yeah, it's a nice healthy start at $48. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So Adam, would you grab Michael Stripe and the box of Mike?
Hell, you don't know about Michael
You
Stripe.
don't. Do you like skunks?
Can you hold this for a minute?
Yeah, you got
sure.
This is a taxidermied skunk.
My god.
That's the pelt of Michael Stripe.
Yeah,
he lives here in the Ottsville Record Garage, specifically
in the box of Mike.
The box of Mike, which is Mike, which is named after your Uncle Mike.
All right,
nice.
so let me see Michael Stripe.
Okay.
Right.
So this is put your hands up.
Okay.
This is the box of Mike.
Yep.
Okay.
This is 5 Rush albums taped together into a box.
Yes.
Okay.
And inside this box are a bunch of envelopes.
Okay.
So your job is to reach in, mix the envelopes up, and pull one out to figure out what we're going to cover next week.
Yep.
Okay.
So go ahead, reach in.
It is an honor and a privilege.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so do it like shuffling cards.
Yep. And then just grab one.
Just grab one and all right, so we got number 28.
All right, we don't know what this is. Number
Neither do I.
28.
Because you don't have the decency to put it in Braille.
I know, right? Okay. Well,
I see. We went white index card.
We doing? Oh yeah, man. I got all everything is white index cards, and you're in the envelope. So like, I went on. So listen to this, man. The fucking listeners are getting their way.
Oh shit!
Early go of the Country Hipster Podcast season 2. This is another listener pick. This comes from my friend Jack Maxwell, who is a listener to the podcast, and actually I know him a little bit. this also is going to introduce a new segment to the podcast.
Oh,
as
interesting.
well. So that's great too. I wanted to get into that. So first, I will tell you what the album is. It is Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, Buckingham Nicks.
Okay.
That is the album. So they are, if people are familiar with those names, they are from Fleetwood Mac, but they put an album out together. I believe it was before they joined Fleetwood Mac, or maybe it was right after. Either way, it was when they actually liked each other and before Rumors came out. I know that much.
Yeah.
But the album is called Buckingham Nicks. It's by Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, and it is a listener pick. It is also, and this is the new segment that we're going to introduce.
Oh, I just realized what mystery segment it is.
What is
This segment that we're going to introduce, and we're going to have 9 of these throughout season 2.
Okay.
This is the mystery beer segment. So Adam sent me, as we know, his love for the. Hold on, where is it? Let me find it here.
The love for the chelada.
Chelada that Adam for some reason keeps handing back to me.
Yeah.
Right. As we know from that, he absolutely hated that beer. And Adam sent me a post on Instagram, which maybe I'll have to share it on the Country Hipster Podcast Instagram, where you can follow us at the Country Hipster Podcast.
I got to start following you guys.
You do. So it was basically a mystery beer. A guy had this beer, and it was like covered up in tin foil, so he didn't know what it was. Opens it up, pours it. He's like, it smells tomato. He drinks it, and it was fucking chelada. He's like, oh my God, this is so bad. So it gave me the idea of like, why don't we do something like that on the Country Hipster Podcast? So we are introducing a new segment called the Mystery Beer segment. So next week, when we film, Adam is going to have a beer. I'm going to have a beer. We're going to swap beers. We're not going to, obviously you're going to know yours. I'm going to know it. Mm-hmm. And so, but we got to figure out, we're going to have to hide it somehow ahead of time. And so that is going to be the mystery beer thing. It would be too obvious for me to just do chelada off the front. So I will guarantee you that the first beer will not be a Modelo Chelada. I guarantee you that.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
And I'm debating on like, should we try to just fucking make each other sick, or should we just get like, just some weird beers or whatever. So like, we'll have to see what's going on. So next week will be another listener pick, and it'll also be the introduction of our new segment, the mystery beer. So that'll be a lot of fun too. I'm looking forward to that.
Personally, I kind of like the sickening idea. Like
I kind of like that idea too, to be honest with you. But
I wish I could see your faces.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can. Oh wait.
No.
Ooh, too soon.
Ha.
Too soon.
No, it's okay. I make my own jokes, so
I
don't. It's better that than crying about it. I've wasted enough time in the past 19 years doing that, and I don't really want to anymore.
That's why you listen to this album. We go right.
Like I had never felt before the cameo. I had never felt so good about myself. It was honestly really, really nice to hear that from somebody who's not my family, not blood, somebody who technically didn't have to say that, because like I said, cameo is 100% optional.
Yep. That's awesome. That is cool. Haley, I got to tell you, it was a pleasure and it was an honor, and I'm so happy that you were on here. I hope that you've enjoyed your time here on the Country Hipster Podcast.
Oh, very much so. It was an honor and privilege being on here with you guys, and I hope you're watching this, Austin Carlisle.
We all hope that.
We are all hoping that Austin Carlisle is watching us. And Austin, if you hear the footsteps in your house, it's probably her. I'm sorry.
Stop it.
If you hear that creaking,
we're pretty sure she's harmless for the most part.
Probably the sounds of my cane hitting the floor.
I would say just like maybe put some obstacles in the way. She's not gonna know.
But fingers crossed. Pray. Make a wish at 11:11. Just hope that he sees us.
There you go. Adam, you got anything else about this album?
Same thing I always say. Listen to it, form your own opinions.
All right. Haley, anything else you want to add? Make it quick.
Yes. For all of you listening, you should start listening to Of Mice and Men. They're awesome.
There you go. So that is all I have. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is all over the table already? Anyway, ready. So on that note, we're looking forward to next week. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, Buckingham Nicks, another listener pick and a mystery beer episode, the inaugural mystery beer. So that'll be fun.
One last thing.
Yes, go for it.
Show me where the camera is.
Straight ahead. Straight. No. Oh, no, you just flipped me You got to put your hand the other way.
Make your head do it.
Good. There you go.
Gotta
There
no,
you
no,
go.
you
Yes.
touch your hand back.
Yes, there you go. We are number one.
See?
We are
I'm
number
Kidding.
one.
I love all of you that are gonna watch this.
There you go. You just got flipped off by blind girl. And that note, it is time to move on.